Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is your investing coach Wahida here. This is where you're able to learn how to build wealth and invest even if you are the first person in your family to do so. Today we are going to talk about how the 5 reasons why the Roth IRA is one of the best wealth building tools for the average person. And if you don't already have the account, listen up because you're going to want to get it after this video. Okay, so what is the Roth IRA? The Roth IRA is a tax advantaged individual retirement account. So it's not attached to an employer or anything like that, like a 401k or a 403b accounts are. So these are the 401k and 403b are employer sponsored retirement plans. But the Roth IRA is an individual retirement account. The main requirement to open a Roth IRA is essentially that you have earned income. So either income through an employer or a business. So this is something you could get, or your partner, or if you're also looking to have your parents invest if they're not already, this is something they would have access to as well if they meet the requirements. Okay, so this is a tax advantaged account. What does that mean? So the tax advantage comes from you are able to put in the money after tax. So the money hits your checking account and then you transfer it to your Roth IRA account. And then you can take that money and invest it into your investments. And those investments grow tax free. And then when you pull it out for eligible expenses, those withdrawals are tax free. So this is such a large wealth building tool because it's such a large tax advantage. And we're going to go over the numbers so you can see over the long term, like how it really can save quite a bit. Great wealth building tool, and it's a benefit that the US government gives, so you're able to essentially save for retirement. That's a goal that they want you to be able to do, essentially. So there is a cap on how much you can invest within it as well, so you don't get too many tax advantages. Okay, so number 2 is that you can withdraw any of your contributions at any time without penalty. So it's actually quite a common myth for people to think that once you put money into your Roth IRA that you can't ever withdraw any of the money until you hit retirement age, like 59 and a half. But that's a myth. You can always withdraw any of your contributions. So if you put in $100 today and next week you're like, actually I think I need that $100 back, you can take back that $100 and there's no penalty. You just can't take the gains out. So how much your account grew, essentially, you can't take the gains out, the 59 and a half. And also there's different times where you are able to take out those gains and we'll chat about some of them. But in general, you should be looking at your Roth IRA as a wealth building tool for retirement. So you don't really take a look too hard at how you can pull these funds early. You want to make sure that your future self is taken care of as well as yourself today. And essentially, for the money to really grow, for the account to really build wealth for you, the biggest component that it needs is time. So this is where compound interest can work its magic. So you really do want to keep it in the account for as long as possible so it can really grow. And we'll look at the numbers later to see just how powerful that is. Number 3, if you make over an income limit, you still have access to the Roth IRA benefit. There's just an extra step you have to do. So if you make over the income limit, there's a backdoor Roth strategy, essentially. So I think, for 2022, If your income is over $144,000 for like a single person, or for 2023, if it's over $153,000, then you wouldn't be able to contribute to the Roth IRA directly. So, but you're able to open a regular IRA account and then convert that IRA account into a Roth IRA. So essentially, you would just put the money into the IRA pre-tax, and then when you convert it to a Roth IRA, you just pay the taxes on it right then and there. Well, when taxes come, you'll pay the taxes on that, and then that money that's in the Roth IRA that's converted now into the Roth IRA is able to grow tax-free, and when you pull it out for eligible expenses, it's tax-free as well. Okay, and also, if you're in a position where you're making over this amount as like a single person, if you're married, the numbers, of course, if you're filing jointly, I'm married and filing jointly, the income level goes up for if you're eligible for the Roth IRA or not. But if you're in a position where you're able to have a high income, like, congratulations. Is this not what our parents and grandparents came and immigrated so far for? So we could have opportunities like this, so we could have these flourishing careers. So congratulations. Just now, remember to show your community how you got to where you're at and bring them up with you. Okay. So, number 4. There's no penalty for education-related withdrawals. So as long as the funds are used for education-related expenses, you won't get penalized for withdrawing your money from the Roth IRA. So if you're thinking about doing a master's, or maybe if you're wanting to have some kind of certificate or something like that, or you want to like gift some of this money to your kids for education, like, there's ways for this to be done for sure, and it can be taken out penalty free. But even though there's all these flexibilities within the Roth IRA, you don't want to lean on them too much or even at all, because really you want to think about these accounts as a retirement account, and you want to have a long-term thought to them. You don't, like, we have to make sure that when we're 60, 65, and we have our grandkids around us, or maybe we're just on the beach with just hanging out, right? Like, or maybe we're wanting to like retire early, like whatever our future self wants, we want to make sure that we're putting in place what we need to put in place so we can have that future that we're dreaming of, right? So Roth IRA, really just look at it as a retirement account, more for long-term expenses. If you're thinking about putting money away for your kids, there's different accounts as well to take a look into, like the 529 plan, especially designed for education costs. So there is tax advantages in those accounts as well. Okay, number 5, and so another flexibility, and this is that you can withdraw up to $10,000 for your first home, purchase, so without penalty. So again, there's flexibility within the Roth IRA, but for the most part, think of it as a retirement account. You may have heard earlier in the video, I was giving 2022 contribution limits, not contribution limits, 2022 income limits, and 2023 income limits. Why did I do that? This video is being posted in 2023, and that's because you actually can contribute to your Roth IRA for the prior year. So you can contribute for the prior year until the tax date the next year, essentially. So today is February 2023, and you have not yet contributed fully for your 2022 Roth IRA. You still can contribute to that 2022 Roth IRA until tax day. So for 2023, it would be April 18th. So the contribution limit for 2022 is $6,000, and then the contribution limit for 2023 is $6,500. So they raise it a little bit to keep up with inflation. Okay, now let's run the numbers to like really see the benefits, the tax benefits that this account can have if you really let it grow over the long term. Okay, so if we max out our Roth IRA for the next 20 years, so let's say we're putting in $540 a month into our Roth IRA for the next 20 years, so that's putting $6,500 into it every year. We're going to assume an 8% return. So in 20 years, we will have $297,086. So that's quite a lot of money. And then if you look at this graph, you can see that the red line is showing us how much the future value is. Like, that's how much our money would have grown to. And then the green line is showing us how much we put in. So essentially, we would have put in $129 into the account, and it would have grown to $297,000. So that gap between those lines is the gains that are tax-free. Quite a big gap, right, that we're saving on taxes. Let's take a look at how much of those taxes really we would have saved. So let's say, so with this, you can see that the account grew to $297,000 and we put in $129,000. So that's a gain of $167,000 over the next 20 years, essentially, meaning $167,000 is tax-free. So if we happen to be in the effective tax rate of 29% for your federal and your state taxes, that means we're saving $48,500 by investing within this account. So that's quite a lot of money. That's a huge tax advantage. And then let's take a look at how much that money can grow to if we increase the amount of time that we're investing in. So remember how I mentioned that compound interest can do its magic if we give it time. So let's look at how that money would have grown if we left it in there for 30 years. So let's say we're putting $541 into it every month for 30 years. Instead of 20 years, we're going to put it in for 30 years. So we're putting essentially $6,500 into it every month for 30 years. I mean, $6,500 into it every year for the next 30 years. And in this graph, you can see that it has now grown to $735,000 in the next 30 years. And how much did we put into this? We put in $194,000. So you can really see from this graph that after year 20, that red line really starts to like skyrocket up. So your future value really starts to skyrocket up. And that's because when you have more money, it can compound into more money. It can grow faster. So time is really, really a key component into getting your account to grow. Because then as it's a snowball effect, right? As you give it more time and as it goes faster and faster and faster towards the end. So here we can really see that it's such a huge, powerful tool if you allow it to have time to grow. And if you are part of the sandwich generation where you have to invest for 3 generations, so like for your parents, yourself, and your future kids, if you choose to have them, maybe you increase what your monthly investments are. Maybe you also encourage your parents to put money into a Roth IRA, or you look into investing into different accounts, so you can really increase what your long-term returns are. Especially, it's more than just you that you're needing to retire with, and also like this is a tremendous amount of stress if this is something you find yourself, if this is a position you find yourself in. So it's a lot. Take a deep breath. It can be done, and time is really the biggest component to success here. So now that you see that the Roth IRA is such a powerful tool, let's keep that momentum and look at where we can open the accounts. So we're going to go over this part quickly because there are other videos going into this a little bit more in detail, but you have options on where you can look into opening the Roth IRA. There's places like robo-advisors where essentially you will have your money invested based on algorithm, essentially, right? That you'll give your money over and they'll ask you a series of questions so they can better understand how to best invest your money. And they'll want to understand kind of like, who are you as an investor? Like, what's your time horizon? Like, when do you need this money? How do you tolerate risk? And then they'll invest based off those questions. So popular robo-advisors are places like a Betterment, Wealthsimple, Acorns. And just keep in mind that the more hands-off you are with your money, so if you give someone else your money to invest, you are going, essentially, you're paying more for that. You are paying for that. So robo-advisors generally will charge like a small management fee. If you're wanting to be a little bit more hands-on with your money, you can go with a DIY brokerage. So these are places like Fidelity, Vanguard, Charles Schwab. So there's no management fee here because you are essentially the manager. And then also there's always advisors that you can go to as well. So certified financial planners or financial advisors are able to offer these services, but just keep in mind that can be quite expensive and sometimes they have large minimums as well. Okay. So with all that information, get out there and open that Roth IRA and get to investing. So thank you everyone for coming to my channel. And as always, this is not financial advice or anything like that. Like, we aren't able to give personalized advice. So this is more general advice. If you're needing more personalized advice, you can go to financial advisors or certified financial planners so they can look at your case, your scenario on a case-by-case scenario. This channel really is for you to get a better understanding of the different wealth building tools and where you can get started. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. See you next week.